So I'd gone to Montevideo mainly because I wanted to, but also because I have a script that I wanted to place in Montevideo. And the after hotel was chosen arbitrarily because it was in the right location. The real place that I wanted to head to was Buenos Aires. So here's a few shots from the after hotel looking out. Looking around the neighbouring area with the overcast skies. And there's me. And there's my bags ready to go, travelling light. There I am at today's Cruces. There's a bus going to Punta del Este, which is the rich place, the area where they call the Monaco of Montevideo. And buen viaje. I decided to have a snack while I waited because I got there early like usual. My server wasn't particularly bothered about me or any of the other patrons that were eating in there. It wasn't exactly a 5-star restaurant, but it was good enough for something that is essentially a bus station. Little cortado there, again what you'd expect from a really nice terminal. The illustrious restaurant that I'm eating at is La Mostaza, Restaurante y Cervecería. And that's my hot dog. Yes, it's impressive. It was delicious though. I'll give you a lot of praise for that. Bunch of people waiting for their bus. Of course the guy's drinking away on his mate, which you can't blame him. It's got to be part of the stereotype, but also mate's pretty great. And the guy in the front looks like my uncle actually. Iba Point. I misread the Cuts Corporacion. I read it as something very different. Very different. And the guys in front were laughing too. Yes, I misread that. There's people just waiting for the bus on the way to Colonia. So we're just getting ready to get on the Colonia Express, which is going to take us all the way to Colonia, Uruguay, to then take a ferry over to Buenos Aires y Argentina. The view from inside the coach. Everyone's loading up. We're about to leave, I'm told. And there's me, sitting, waiting to get going. Little bit of selfie there. I'd say excessive, but there's the countryside. Driving through. Dregs of snow it seemed, or I'm not quite sure what that was, but we're heading westward throughout Uruguay right now. You can see the interesting forests, very different to what we're used to over here in Vancouver. The very uniform ways they were planted and the people passing out as they're driving through. Got to be careful, if you pass out in a public place, people might take a photo of you. Bienvenidos a Colonia. So that's Colonia in Uruguay. And that's the terminal where you pass through immigration in order to be able to board to then go to Argentina. The face we all make when waiting. And everyone's gathering trying to get their overpriced snacks and their overpriced wine. Zika virus notices. Aflajorcito y no sé qué es. And I don't know what that is. So our ferry was delayed by quite some time, and we waited, and we waited, and we waited, and as you can see the area got more and more and more packed. And these were a couple of really loud Brazilians. That's kind of an interesting shot, but the guy in the foreground's a Brazilian that knew how not to be quiet. People getting more and more bored and annoyed by the wait. Me saying the same thing with my facial expression. That guy with his arms folded perfectly. He's not really happy about the particular situation. But now we're about to board. That's what everyone sees when they get off coming to Uruguay or Uruguay. We're about to leave. I think you can read the Atlantic Express. And that's us boarding. It was actually a much bigger boat than I assumed it would be. I thought it would be something reasonably sort of BC ferries type size. But it was massive and modern, looked fantastic, felt really comfortable, lots of amenities, lots of duty-free options. Really an imposing vessel. A lot of fun to ride actually. Despite the delay, it was a very organised journey over. And that's a view of the Plata, Rio Plata, that we're passing to. And another one of a silly person, i.e. me. And the sight as we began sailing. I really liked the way the old man's hand was propped up there, and the pensive expression that I could feel from his face. So arriving into Buenos Aires, seeing it from the waterside, seeing the ships as they're docked, and the sunset become pronounced. I think we were meant to arrive somewhere in the region of 4 p.m. and we got there at about 8 or so. I don't remember exactly. I think we got there later. And the scramble as we all try and leave, and you can see people looking at one another going, we're all trying to get off, we're all trying to get off. But when we made it to the other side, we realised that really it was a bit of a queue. And there's me with my frizzy hair. We've made it to Argentina. And we're all trying to get out and into the city as quickly as possible. It's just all queued up to get through immigration. There, we've made it, we're out, we're on the street. So the first thing I do is I fire up my phone and I try and get Cabify to work. And it took me a while. Cabify is kind of like an Uber of that region. But as soon as it did, I got my taxi and we were on our way. Avenida Huergo. And this is when I started to see the city I would fall in love with. Because the architecture, the eclectic setup, there's El Congreso. First building I saw, and I was just blown away by its magnificence. And there's me reaching just outside my hotel. This place I went to was a supermarket disco. Another blurry photo. Start with a Gordon's gin and tonic. Viviana. El nombre de mi madre. Well, Vivian. Y dos empanadas, which I seem to eat all the time. Bottled water, which apparently they tend not to have much fizzy water there. It tends to be still water. And a little look of a few places I'd like to visit from my map. I ended up seeing all of them.